The primary source of carbon in the environment is in the form of carbon dioxide gas in the atmosphere. Carbon can be taken out of the atmosphere or fixed in two ways. It can be absorbed by the ocean, eventually becoming solid limestone, or by plants through photosynthesis. Carbon from decaying plants and phytoplankton over millions of years becomes underground stores of coal, oil, and natural gas. Carbon is returned to the atmosphere via cellular respiration by animals, plants, and decomposers. Carbon is also returned to the atmosphere through the combustion of coal, oil, and natural gas by humans, and is a major source of extra carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The primary source of nitrogen in the environment is in the form of nitrogen gas in the atmosphere. Unlike carbon, it is impossible for most organisms to fix atmospheric nitrogen. Only specialized nitrogen-fixing bacteria can take nitrogen out of the atmosphere. These nitrogen-fixing bacteria produce nitrogen in the form of ammonia, which can then be converted to nitrate by soil bacteria through a process known as nitrification. Nitrogen in the form of nitrate is usable by plants and gets assimilated into plant proteins. Animals that eat the plants also receive this nitrogen. The decomposition of animal and plant matter can be processed by soil bacteria through ammonification, also known as mineralization, to produce ammonium. This ammonium can also be used by nitrifying soil bacteria to produce nitrate. This cycling of solid forms of nitrogen in the ecosystem is called internal cycling. Nitrogen is returned to the atmosphere by denitrifying bacteria, which convert nitrate to nitrogen gas. The only other way for nitrogen gas to be fixed in the environment is through lightning strikes. In the 1910s, Fritz Haber and Carl Bosch figured out how to artificially fix nitrogen gas using high temperature and pressures. This process produces ammonia that can be used as fertilizer. The invention of this process led to a revolution in farming and food availability, but has led to an unsustainable increase of nitrogen in the environment. Phosphorus in the environment is primarily locked in rocks. There is no significant gaseous form of phosphorus in the environment. Phosphorus rocks, uplifted through geological processes, become exposed to wind and rain and over millions of years weather away, and the phosphorus in those rocks is released into the soil as phosphate. Plants can assimilate phosphate, and animals obtain phosphate from the plants that they eat. Phosphorus is released into the environment through defecation, excretion, and decomposition, and can go through internal cycling or is sorbed into soils and sediments. Phosphorus can also be mined by humans and used in fertilizers along with ammonia. Phosphate fertilizers have also led to more productive farming, but has also caused a harmful increase in phosphorus in the environment. Sulfur exists in the atmosphere in two forms, hydrogen sulfide and sulfur oxides. Sulfur oxide reactions produce sulfuric acid in the atmosphere, and this sulfuric acid can enter the environment either via dry deposition or through acid rain. This sulfur deposition then becomes sulfate salts in the soil. Sulfur can also enter the environment through weathering and erosion. Dimethyl sulfide in the oceans is released back into the atmosphere as sulfur oxides. Humans also produce sulfur oxides and hydrogen sulfide through air pollution, particularly through coal burning. This increase in atmospheric sulfur produces more sulfuric acid, causing an increase in acid rain that can dramatically change the pH and functioning of aquatic and terrestrial habitats.